Hello, it is the last Sunday of the month of February. My name is Solis Rose Corte. Good evening. Welcome to News 360.
I'm Mr. Mone. We have the headlines for tonight coming up in a moment.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by...
And in this edition, Ghana Police Service to investigate allegations of sexual abuse and exploitation against internally displaced women in South Sudan by some personnel of the formed police unit.
Also coming up tonight, over 100 houses on government lands at Borteman demolished.
And when we switch to Mission, Brighton Ransford tells the story of how residents of Kulung in the Y-East district of the Upper West region struggle to access one of life's prized commodities.
Also in the bulletin tonight, TV3's Alfredo Canse brings us exclusive updates from Spain ahead of the 2018 Mobile World Congress.
In other international news tonight, 2 car bomb attacks killed at least 38 people in the Somali capital, Mogadishu.
Well, all these and more coming up in the next 60 minutes, as well as some entertainment and some sports news. Let's start with our first story, and some security experts have linked the allegations of sexual abuse against Ghanaian police peacekeepers in South Sudan to low morality. This follows the withdrawal of a 46-member contingent protecting civilians at the biggest internally displaced camp at Wau, South Sudan, for further investigations on the alleged sexual abuse.
The United Nations and the United Nations Mission in South Sudan, UNMISS Code of Conduct prohibits sexual relationships with vulnerable individuals, including all beneficiaries of assistance. The Saturday directive was based on information that the 46th contingent of Ghanaian Formed Police Unit, FPU, at Wau were allegedly engaged in sexual relationship with women in the camp. UNMISS then informed the UN headquarters in New York, after which an investigation into the incident began.
I know the police administration would by now have been embarrassed by these allegations, whether proven or unproven, because the sort of hard work that has been put into all these things, they would have to sit up now and ensure that henceforth people who are deployed are of the highest standard to ensure that people that are against disciplinary-wise were not deployed to the ground.
If you go into the nitty-gritties of who are even deployed, there's a lot of who you know. I mean, and it's always almost becoming the highest bidder at the expense of other officers, well-performing officers in the country who would want to have a taste of how these peacekeeping missions go.
South Sudan, which won independence from Sudan in 2011, descended into civil war in 2013, months after President Salva Kiir fired his deputy, Riek Machar. Tens of thousands of people have been killed, and a third of the population have fled their homes. The United Nations has 6 civilian protection sites across the country, housing some 204,501 people. UNMISS comprises over 17,000 peacekeeping personnel, including 13,000 soldiers and 1,500 police officers. The Ghana Police has since 2015 contributed over 500 personnel in 3 batches, with the last switch between troops occurring on January 31 this year.
You're watching News 360, and quite a worrying issue, and that is the reason why the Director General of the Police Public Affairs Directorate, ACP David Senanu Eklu, has joined me in the studio. Good evening, and thank you for agreeing to contribute to our news tonight. This is a very disturbing situation for the Ghana Police Service.
Good evening, Issa, and thank you very much for giving us this opportunity.
Right. So has the police service received any formal complaint from the peacekeepers in Sudan?
Yes, we received this not too very good news on Friday through a correspondence from our parent mission in New York. In the report, the UN mission in South Sudan, UNMISS, indicated as a detachment of the Ghanaian Foreign Police Unit currently performing peacekeeping duties have been cited in an alleged case of sexual abuse and exploitation. And then the UN has, based on the allegation, the UN has started investigations into the incident. So that's the report that we received last Friday.
Right, it's early days, yes, but can you tell us if the allegation is against the current batch of peacekeepers or it's something that has been going on for some time?
No, from the report that we have, 46 of the Foreign Police Unit who are in operation in one of the protection sites or POC sites, protection of civilian sites in WOW, were cited for this alleged misconduct. And I understand the reports were from early January up to early February. So it is within a month.
You said cited. By who? Who cited? Who saw them?
We have the Office of Internal Oversight Unit of the United Nations. And then we also have the Conduct and Discipline Unit in the mission that ensures that the UN rules and regulations are respected by both staff members of the UN and the uniform personnel. In uniform personnel, I'm talking about police and other peacekeepers who go on the peacekeeping missions here.
So would Ghana Police itself conduct its own investigation apart from this kind of
when we received the news, we immediately, the Inspector General of Police immediately sent a response indicating our full support and cooperation with the United Nations in any investigations that they would conduct, and then any sanctions that will come out if they are found guilty. So, of course, we are supporting those investigations. And then we also requested permission to allow a 3-member team from the Ghana Police Service to access to the mission area to also get acquainted with events there and also check a few facts. But the investigations is solely conducted by the United Nations as I speak now.
Do you trust your men there, the policemen there?
Do you trust them?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so, because they have been taken through a rigorous training, 8 weeks rigorous training, selection, and in addition...
What about discipline?
Yes, I'm coming to that.
Right.
And when they get to the mission area, they are also taken through orientation. And early January, senior officers from this headquarters visited them and gave them some further advice on what they should do. So far, we have not received any adverse report apart from this current one. Our participation in peacekeeping mission spans over decades. And I would say that this is the first major damning report on the conduct of the police officers. And that sets us very worried and also disappointed, because our officers have set up very high standards as far as UN peacekeeping operations are concerned. This is a very worrying thing, and we are so disappointed. And that's why we support investigations and actions taken by the United Nations to make sure that the few ones that are tarnishing the excellent job that we are doing in the peacekeeping missions across the length and breadth of this world are not further exacerbated or further damaging the high reputation that we have set as far as peacekeeping operations are concerned.
Tonight, you are not looking worried, but is the police service worried? Are you just putting up a face on TV, or
of course, nobody will be happy about such a damning report. Nobody will be happy about such a setback when we have set a very high standard as far as peacekeeping operations are concerned. So we are certainly not happy. And it's a big blow to the very high standards we have set as far as peacekeeping operations are concerned.
Thank you very much, ACP David Senano-Ekulu. I'm sure we would hope and look forward to the report, and then we see the action that the police service will take. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Right. Now let's do some other stories tonight. And a middle-aged woman at Botimang in Accra collapsed Sunday morning when her house, together with about 100 others, were demolished. The houses were believed to be situated on government property meant for agricultural purposes.
Joyce Bortelli could not stand the sight of her two-bedroom apartment being demolished. The demolition had come as a shock to her and other property owners in the area, as there was no prior notice. Apparently, the land on which the demolished buildings were situated belonged to the government, meant for agricultural purposes. But Joyce's husband claims the land is a Nungwa's land. He indicated it was given to his family for free 2 years ago by the then Willem Mayor, since they are natives of Nungwa. After securing the land, I went to the Land Commission to make my own investigations, and I was told I could go ahead to build, since I'm a native of Nungwa. The exercise was led by Director of Operations of the Ghana Police Service, Chief Superintendent Kwesi Ofori, who assured the police commitment to protect government land and property.
One thing of worry is in between bungalows, in between government facilities, you see private developers putting up their structures. It's uncalled for. It's improper and unlawful. Let me use this opportunity to warn the Langa to keep off this area. The police in their routine patrols, operations will be coming here, to protect officials, personnel, and facilities here.
Over the last 2 months, the Regional Police Command has conducted special operations against land guards in areas like Weija, Airport East, Abokobi, Adenta, Weibi, and have arrested some 200 land guards who are currently being processed in court.
Mostly in the day you see them as land guards, in the night they go out as robbers. So we have a holistic program in place, not only the regional headquarters, but we have police formations that are all part of these exercises. So I would say that we need public support in this direction.
It was also observed some houses in the community had illegally connected electricity from the national grid.
All right, and now to some news just in, and a rainstorm observed over the eastern borders of the country is expected to move west and affect most places in the southern half of the country this evening. Our places to be affected are as follows. Now, we're expecting this a couple of hours ago. That's around 1700 GMT. That's 5 p.m. our time, around the areas of Ho, Kweve, Ketekrachi, Ofosu, Dambai, Draso, and Koko, New Ebrim. Now, Draso and Koko and New Ebrim, and this we're expecting around 9 p.m. tonight. That's 2100 GMT. Also, this started around 1800 GMT or 6 p.m. this evening around Mampong, Kumasi, and Obuasi, and also at 2100 GMT, that's 9 p.m. we're expecting this rainstorm around Asante Bekwai. So everyone out there is advised to be very mindful around these times, and if you live in these areas. Now let's still stay with some issues regarding the weather, as we are also looking at informing people that once again, please be very mindful of what's happening in these areas. It's not something to joke about. These areas around 9 p.m. we're looking at Draso, Nkoko, and New Ebrim. Also around 9 p.m. tonight, Asante Bekwai. That's what we're looking at. Now, for those of you in these areas, if you have anything to let us know, definitely make sure that you send us some of the footages of anything that happens. Also, you can also go to www.3news.com to get more updates regarding this particular rainstorm. You're still tuned into News 360, and we're coming to you live from our studios here at Addo in Accra. All
right, let's do some more weather-related stories. And some parts of Mangu, Dobile and Kpagure, all suburbs of Wa in the Upper West region, have been flooded following a downpour which occurred Saturday morning. The downpour, which lasted for over 6 hours, rendered many residents who live along the Mangu River homeless. Here's a report by Yakubu Abdul Gafur.
The downpour, which is the first major rainfall recorded in 2018 in Wa, flooded some communities. The area along the Mangu River has been identified by the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, as flood-prone. Despite this warning, residents have devised strategies to prevent flooding. However, the intervention is inadequate. Homes get flooded anytime it rains. Officials of the Upper West Regional National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, were at the scene to register the affected households. Some flood victims appealed to government to construct a drainage that would direct all floods in the area.
I am appealing to government to come to our aid.
If they had constructed a gutter in the area, we wouldn't have been experiencing these floods.
The waterways have been blocked. We're calling on government to quickly come to our aid. The Upper West Regional Director of NADMO, Isaac Seidu, was concerned about the perennial flooding in the area.
This septic tank, we could also realize that the water has flooded the whole septic tank, and that same thing, the water in the feces is coming out from the septic tank and it's flowing to the dam. And this dam, you know, most of these our community people, they consume the dam water.
He reiterated the need to desilt choked gutters and drainage systems.
Now let's do some other stories. And records available to the Police Motor Traffic and Transport Department and the National Road Safety Commission show a total of 1,774 reported road accidents occurred between January 1 and 31 this year, claiming about 139 lives. Now, these were disclosed by the Director of Education and Research at the Police Headquarters, DSP Alexander Obing, at a road safety campaign at East Legon.
The nationwide reported accident cases involved 725 commercial vehicles, 715 private cars, and 336 motorcycles. A total of 1,071 persons were victims of the road accidents. Out of this figure, 139 died, 349 sustained serious injuries, and 583 minor injuries. Greater Accra region topped the fatality and casualty list with 295 reported cases, followed by Ashanti region 196 and Eastern 88. More than 80% of the accidents were caused by human error.
Let us put the best road safety practices in practice as vehicle owners, as drivers, as vehicle occupants, and as pedestrians.
The alarming record of road traffic accidents and the increasing spate of indiscipline by drivers in the East Legon Policing District prompted the road safety campaign by the East Legon District Police.
It is our belief that when motorists and the public appreciate how to conduct themselves on the road, fatalities will minimize.
The first of the series of events attracted members of the GPRTU and other driver unions operating in and around American House enclave of East Legon.
By launching this road safety education, the East Legon Command is giving meaning of the IGP's transformation agenda.
Patrons were taken through road safety tips.
Everyone has a right of way at any given time. If it is your right, move on. If it is others, let them go. This will greatly prevent accidents.
Chairman of the Cargo Drivers Union, Victor Amego, welcomed the initiative.
We are very happy this afternoon that the police service, they do not ignore us, they do not sack us, they do not forget about us. They come to educate us. But now the whole burden is on we, the leaders of the various unions. We have to be very strict on our members.
He charged drivers to adopt safe driving methods in order to reduce road traffic accident cases.
And the Millennium Challenge Corporation has expressed its gratitude to President Akufo-Addo for his exemplary role in finding a lasting solution to the political impasse in Togo. Acting Chief Executive Officer of the Millennium Challenge Corporation, Jonathan Nash, said his outfit was considering investing in Togo but had to postpone it because of the ongoing political crisis in that country.
Jonathan Nash made this known when he paid a courtesy call on President Akufo-Addo ahead of the meeting of the National Governors Association of the United States of America, where the president will become the first African leader to address 50 U.S. governors. He said, due to ongoing political crisis in Togo, the Millennium Challenge Corporation, MCC, had to halt an investment initiative in Togo. He added, the MCC will consider this decision if the situation in Togo improves. President Akufo-Addo was optimistic the political crisis in Togo will be solved.
We're brothers, we are family, the people on both sides of the border are basically the same people. But nevertheless, we're not nation states, so you can imagine the burden that imposed on the Ghanaian exchequer. So we have a very real interest in seeing to order and stability there. We're doing the best that we can.
And now to some politics. The incumbent Krowa constituency Nasara coordinator Alidu Moro collapsed upon noticing he's lost the elections. Now, it took the timely intervention of some supporters who helped in resuscitating him. Also, constituency chairman James Amate lost the opportunity to lead the constituency to one-time treasurer of the constituency, Joseph Atta Jima. Salom Amenya has more.
The new Patriotic Party NPP constituency elections at the Krowa constituency was generally peaceful. Some 730 delegates were expected to vote. Out of 10 positions being contested, 8 incumbents lost their positions with the exception of organizer and women organizer. While voting was ongoing, some were seen holding posters and trying to persuade the delegate to vote for their candidate. This, the municipal electoral officer Augustine Tiamwa described as disappointing.
A few of the delegates are still handling posters at the polling center where we are having elections, and it is not the best. You ask whether the police what are they doing about it. The police they will tell you this is a party affair, so they don't want to make it. Once the contestants are not complaining, they will not come in.
At exactly 3 p.m., counting began, creating tension amongst agents and supporters. At the end of counting, Joseph Atta Jima emerged winner for the chairmanship position with 347 votes out of 725.
James Amate Ama, 130. Joseph Atta Jima, 347. Total votes cast, 725. So we have Joseph Atta Jima elected as chairman.
Me basa obatanya nensa ekata nemaso. I'm coming to unite them. Before I betini I win 2020. Na just say one man polling station executive for holding.
While some jubilated, others could not comprehend the loss. Incumbent Nasara coordinator Alidu Moro collapsed upon noticing he's lost the elections and had to be carried away. The winners were sworn in by the Member of Parliament for Krowa, Elizabeth Afolekwe. She charged the elected executives to work towards keeping the party in power.
I pray that you contribute to the success that the party has earned in this constituency. We want to retain power in 2020. I urge you to work very hard to ensure that we continue this good work.
Richard Ahiagba, who is aspiring to be General Secretary of the NPP, observed the elections.
And this is where exactly we look forward to, that our party is giving the strength at the base of the party to be able to grow. What we have today is a very strong party up top. We want to change that dynamics.
And also some leading members of the New Patriotic Party have appealed to disgruntled members and supporters to bury their differences and allow peace to prevail within the rank and file of the party ahead of the 2020 polls.
There were purported discrepancies that characterized the party's elections in the Ashanti region on Saturday. Security was tight at all polling centers. The region recorded pockets of violence in places such as Menchia North, Asante Achim North and Kwadaso. But in an interview with TV3, some leading members of the party in the region called for calm to ensure victory in 2020 general elections. The Member of Parliament for Bantama, Daniel Ochema-Boaje, said party supporters and members must forge ahead with a united front.
We decided that we don't want to have any court issues or want any problems in Bantama. So myself, together with the executive, came together and we made sure we took strategies that will help us not create any problems. I'm willing to work with anybody that the people have selected so that together, even if we don't have differences, together we have to move the constituency forward.
The Member of Parliament for Menchia South and Minister of Education, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, was optimistic supporters of the party would strategize in their campaigns and avoid tendencies that could affect the party's fortunes in the 2020 elections.
Initially, there was a bit of noise. There's a misunderstanding of issues. We explained to people what is happening. And the turnout, the composure, the demeanor tells you that Menchia people don't understand the election.
The Bantama constituency chairman of the party, Fifi Mensah, called on losing candidates and their supporters to join all activities in the constituency. A member of the National Election Committee of the party, Henry Kwabena Kokofu, appealed to disgruntled supporters and members to bury their differences and allow peace to prevail. He was impressed with the conduct of elections in the region.
We have President Akufo-Addo as President of the Republic of Ghana and leader of the New Patriotic Party. We are obliged to go to the people of Ghana and ask for another term. And that is going to happen in 2020. That is where the real battle is. And the real contestants will be the other minority parties. If you waste all our energies and time, resources to fight among ourselves, we'll be weakening our own strength to face the real contestants.
The biggest gathering of mobile phone tech experts is right here in Barcelona, in Spain. Join us on our various media general platforms as we bring you live updates of the Mobile World Congress 2018 live from Barcelona, only on TV3, on 3FM, on Onia FM, on Connect FM, also on 3news.com. My name is Alfred Okansi. Join me live from Barcelona in Spain. It's proudly brought to you by Samsung.
Quite interesting. I can't wait for that.
Definitely, we'll be linking up with Alfred Okansi to bring you updates from the tech conference in Spain. Stay with us right now. After this break, Solis Roscotti will bring you Mission.
Welcome back to News 360. It's now time for Mission, which is supported by Star Ghana and funded by Danida, the European Union and UK Aid. Now to our first story from the Upper West region. For residents of Kowloon in the Wa East district of the Upper West region, water is a prized commodity. Now, Bright Nana Anfo reports residents scoop unwholesome water from a stagnant pond for use. A borehole in the community constructed is yet to produce its first water.
The community contributes 100 million. So, and we drill a borehole. It was water, but we don't have money to buy the hairs and then the pipes.
Over 400 people live here. The excitement is only because they have visitors. The community is quiet when there are no visitors, and there is virtually no activity. This is due to inadequate social amenities. There is no health facility here. A 30-minute walk or a 10-minute ride on a bike will take residents to Yala for health care. For pregnant women of Kulung, drinking this water is a danger because the facility can't take care of them properly. In this difficulty, water is a challenge. Getting the commodity is a headache. This is the only source. They would never pray for the dry season to come because the season is a nightmare in the search for water.
This is what residents of Kulung here in the Upper West region rely on. This is the only source, and at this time of the year when it is dried up, there is indeed a huge problem for them. Women, children, and everyone in the community relies on this kind of water from this stagnant pool. It starts from right behind me and drips here, and it gathers. I'm told that it takes hours for it to gather to the level that it can be scooped into their receptacles or containers. Residents of Kulung are really distressed. Water is a prized commodity, a challenge they are battling to deal with. They rely on this for household chores. I doubted at being told that this is indeed the water used for drinking. Then I got the shock of my life. Even children were given some to drink. They had made effort to dig a borehole, but had been unsuccessful. A last-minute effort, however, yielded some water, but resources had run out. To get pumps to bring out the water, some more funding was needed to finish the work.
We don't have money to buy the hairs and then the pipes. So the contractor told us that we should find 30 million. So we went and contacted the DCE. And the DCE too, he said that he will come. We follow him up to date. So we went to the Funsi Assemblyman. We contacted him that he should send us to MP at Accra. MP said he have called the DCE and give him the go ahead. So he called the DCE and the DCE to say that he's going to Tamale. That after he returned, that he will come.
They therefore had to continue relying on this unwholesome water for use. Several appeals in the past for help did not yield any results.
Now, water is a very, very huge problem here. Now, right now, they have to walk about 1 kilometer before they can get to the source of water. And even when they get to the source of water, they are scrambling for the water of animals. So the animals also go there to look for the same water, the same source of water, and that's where the animals also drink from.
The District Assembly is ready to step in. The promise is that Kulung's water challenge will be fixed.
They have initiated a borehole and then they hit water and reported to Assembly. So when it was reported to Assembly that they themselves have initiated a borehole and they had water, I went to the community myself, went and saw the borehole. So I asked them to actually provide details of the one who drilled the borehole so that I will contact him to find out about the yield of the borehole so that the Assembly will take it up and complete for them. So for now, we are ready to support them to complete the borehole for them. Once we have made several attempts and could not get water, and they themselves have now been able to drill and hit water. We are ready to take it up and complete it.
The only source they could rely on is dried up. The community lives close to the Kulun River. In October 2017, the river had water. 3 months ago, in October, I stood at this very same place, the Kulun River. This is the shores of the Kulun River. There was indeed water. Vehicles had to struggle to get to the other side. Motorbikes had to do the same. 3 months on in February, it is totally dried up. The river has been cut into pieces. Communities that lie on the banks of the river rely on it for consumption, but now they have to struggle to even get a little that's left in the river. With the river dried up and no rains expected till May, residents of Kulung would have to wait for the borehole to be fixed before they can access clean water for use. Brighton and Anfo, TV3.
Now, from that sore side, let's do some good news. And residents of Bonsahon have for several years expressed worry about the lack of potable water, access to healthcare, and poor roads in their area. But following the stories aired on TV3's Mission, David Vondi, a former MP aspirant in the area, has constructed and commissioned a borehole worth 15,000 Ghana cedis to solve the water situation. A report by Spencer Kwabna Mensah.
Water has for more than a decade now been a scarce commodity at Bonsahon in the Atimokwa district of the Central Region. The only source of potable water constructed during the Rawlings regime broke down more than 10 years ago and has since not been attended to. Pupils walk several miles to get water before and after school, an activity they say affects the academic work.
I walk a mile before I fetch water to go to school.
How does it affect your schooling?
Because I didn't go to school on time because the water is far away from our houses. So this water contains a lot of germs, which causes some diseases to us, and it is not good for us.
Okay. But the good news is that a former MP aspirant and humanitarian, David Vondi, has responded to the story aired on Mission with an intervention that would alleviate the water challenges at Bonsahon. At a mini deba at Bonsahon, he indicated that as a native of the district, he shares in the challenges of the people. Commissioning the project, David Vondi was sure that the borehole would promote the standard of living of Bonsahon people.
Having seen your documentaries showing that there are problems of water here, I thought that it was on me to, assist and get water for them to drink because water is life. I've suffered these kind of things before. Those days when we were here, and it was terrible.
He added that his NGO, David Vondi Institute, is poised to support the marginalized in the districts and beyond.
It is not only that you will become an MP that you can help your community, you can still help your community whether you're an MP or not. So I am not fighting for political, favor. I'm doing this because it must be done.
The secretary to the chief of Bonsahon was grateful for this intervention.
About 700 to 1,000 people who are the beneficiaries of this water have also been prevented from waterborne diseases like onco, which provides blindness. So we are very sincere and grateful to Mr. Bondi for his kind gesture.
We also thank the management of TV3 for exposing our problems to the whole world.
After marking time for over a decade now, their dream has finally become a reality. The issue of attracting diseases from unhygienic drinking water shall become a thing of the past. Now, pupils could quickly get water for their families and get to school every morning. Meanwhile, when the mission team first visited the community in November 2017, some pupils at the Bonsahon school studied in a bad learning environment because of the collapse of their classroom block at the beginning of the academic year. But the assemblyman of the area assured the mission team during our second visit that a temporary structure would be raised in a month's time for the kids and claimed building materials were ready. A month on, there is no sign of the said construction, leaving academic work still unattractive. In a related development, the poor roads in the area continue to affect healthcare delivery and agriculture. 10 patients, including pregnant women, had already died as a result of lack of transportation to transfer them to a nearby town to get emergency health care. Also, bags of cocoa beans and food produce had been destroyed in the community owing to lack of transportation. On our third visit, the issue has still not gotten any better, and with the onset of the rains, the people fear the problem would worsen. Spencer Kobnaboati Mensa, TVC News, Chifubonsa.
And that's all for Mission Tonight. It is supported by Star Ghana with funding from Danida, UK Aid and the European Union.
You're on News 360, and let's do some more stories now. We're moving to Saltpond, where the accident and emergency ward of the Saltpond Municipal Hospital lacks adequate logistics and infrastructure to function effectively. To aid the hospital provide quality healthcare, senior lecturer at the Political Science Department of the University of Ghana, Professor Ransford Jampo, has adopted the accident and emergency ward of the Saltpond Municipal Hospital.
The Saltpond Municipal Hospital was the first to be built in the country in the 1920s. Even though the hospital has witnessed some improvements in its infrastructure, several units and wards, particularly the accident and emergency ward, lacks support. It is the nearest in the Winneba to Cape Coast catchment area, making it the first port of call in cases of accident. But with only 6 beds in its limited space, the facility is overwhelmed with cases, sometimes as much as 50 a day. Professor Ransford Jampo, a native of Saltpond in the Central Region, says his adoption of the accident and emergency units is a way of giving back to his community. By adopting the accident and emergency ward of the Saltpond Municipal Hospital, Professor Jampo is now responsible for its efficiency. These include expanding the ward to accommodate more patients and providing other basic infrastructure and health facilities to enable the ward to function effectively.
I remember my mother tells me that growing up, he always rushed me here. And so yesterday when I came in here, I realized that it's a no-no. It's not a place that any meaningful person should be able to see and go without doing anything to help.
He also presented some computers to the hospital to facilitate its e-health delivery system.
Well, Thierry Nyan comes your way after this with some sports news updates. Stay with us. In entertainment tonight, the search for DJ Switch's successor has begun. Now, as a season 9 of TV3's Child Talent Hunt show, Talented Kidz, has been launched. The show opened on Sunday evening with some amazing performances from 24 contenders. Judge Benedict Yate is optimistic that this year's show will be nothing short of captivating and competitive. After 8 impressive seasons, award-winning kids reality show Talented Kidz is back with a bang. First episode of the 9th edition of Talented Kidz kicked off with exciting performances from the children who sailed through the audition process. Yeah, from a Accra back to Cape Coast, Daddy Aqua back to West Coast. Like the rappers, the dancers, band groups and poets left nothing to chance. the Future Leaders Group looked amazing. This sketch on caring for and extending equal opportunities to people living with disability will be worth your time.
Ability is not a curse and an evil affliction. Let us love them as a kind. We are them who are appealing to the government of Ghana, stakeholders, and able citizens to give equal opportunity. All persons living with disability in Ghana, for they are a part of society.
Season 8 winner DJ Switch was also on hand to entertain the crowd. Parents have no excuse to support their children if they want to see them shine. That was the message of Beatrice Abbey, General Manager for MGTV.
I urge all parents to motivate their children to live their dreams.
Talented Kids will span 13 weeks. The winner will take home a cash prize of 10,000 cedis, a 15,000 cedi worth education investment fund, and a fully paid trip abroad. Who takes over from DJ Switch? Well, going by the open show, Judge Benedict Yati thinks there could be surprises.
What the children have really exhibited tonight shows that season 9 is really going to be very exciting, it's going to be very competitive, and we should all look out for something mind-blowing. Any of the contestants, the 24 contestants, any of them is capable of emerging a winner.
Indeed, any of them is capable of emerging the winner of this year's edition of Talented Kids. And that's how we wrap up News 360 here on TV3. I am Solace Rose Corte.
And I'm Issa Morning. Keep watching TV3. Have a wonderful evening.